Hello, I'm Walter and welcome to my channel, Nature Therapy. Photography is therapy. That is my theme for today. I have a special guest with me and I will be introducing you to her in a little bit. But I think this is an important topic. Especially when it comes to well-being. And we're out here taking photographs of Mill Creek Falls. Hopefully this will be an inspiring video for all of you as we talk about how nature can inspire us, how it can be therapy to our souls, and how photography is a way to look beyond ourselves, to look to nature and help get our minds off of our problems. So thank you for joining me again, and I look forward to sharing this video with you today. So let's go ahead and get the photography started. It is such a wonderful day. I'd like to introduce you to a good friend of mine who is coming out to do some photography with me. And this is Jennifer Gonzalez. And she is an excellent portrait and nature photographer. And I'll put all her links down in the description so you can go and support her. But hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
So what do you think about this area?
It is absolutely beautiful. I am very happy to be here. From your first video of this area, I definitely had wanted to come, and it's beautiful. I'm very happy.
Great. Well, we are going to talk a little bit more about the theme of this particular video, and that is photography as therapy. And Jennifer is really into nature therapy, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But Jennifer, thank you for joining me on this particular video, and I look forward to sharing some of your photos of this trip. And everybody, will talk in just a moment.
Thanks.
Bye. What you got going there, Jennifer?
I'm just here at Mill Creek Falls. I'm just working on getting some more close-up type shots of the waterfall. I find that I get a lot of wide shots all the time, and depending on the type of waterfall, I think close-up shots can be very pretty, especially when you have this sort of cascade down the rock. If there was a lot more water, that wouldn't look good, but since you can still see the rock, I like to zoom in and really get a nice shot of the water coming over the rock. And sometimes with this, a little less is more as far as the long exposure. If you get too much, then you really can't see the rock. So I tend to go just a little bit less, so I get a little bit less water and you can see the rock. So I'm just kind of moving around and getting various aspects of the waterfall and the rock, especially where there's moss, which I think is very pretty.
For this photo, I have my 10 to 24 millimeter lens on, and I am focusing in on the water, the stream that is coming to my camera, as well as the rocks. So I have this long sort of sweeping view to the waterfall in the background. This really, the ultra wide, well, I mean, it's equivalent to a 16 millimeter, but that is still really wide. So it is, it's given me a really, really good effect. Well, we've had a fun time here photographing here at Mill Creek. It is just a beautiful area. And I wanted to take just a little bit of time out here and talk about the topic of today's video, which is photography as therapy. But I want to talk about, and I've got as I introduced to you a little bit earlier, Jen, who is such an excellent photographer, and I really get inspired when I look at her photographs, not only her portraiture as well, but her nature photography. But this means a lot to her in terms of nature therapy, and I want to sort of give her an opportunity just to share a little bit about what this means, being out in nature, and how that can help us with our well-being. So, Jennifer?
Sure. Thank you, Walter.
Yeah.
Nature therapy is a big deal to me. I have a degree in social work, and although getting a job in social work was near to impossible after I graduated, I've always had that idea of therapy being beneficial to us in my thought process and in my life. I found that in times when I would feel stress or something really upsetting would happen, I found myself turning to nature more times than not to kind of help myself through it. When I started doing photography, I noticed that also helped. What I do is oftentimes when I get bad news or something happens where I'm just really upset, I will grab my camera and just go somewhere. It doesn't have to be anywhere special. I usually just go somewhere close to the house and I just start taking pictures. My focus goes from whatever it is that upset me or made me angry or sad, and the focus goes to the camera. A lot of times I'll get home and I won't like any of those pictures because my intent was not to make a beautiful picture. My intent was to kind of get over the hump of whatever it was that was stressing me out. So when I'm sitting there working on focus or composition, that's where my focus goes. And I find when I get back home, I'm much better able to deal with whatever it is in my life that I have to deal with. I lost my father last October, and when I got that news that he only had a few days, that was the first thing I did. I grabbed my camera, went out to a trail that's very close to my house that I knew I could go and sit and be alone. And I don't think I took one good picture, but that really wasn't the point. The point was just to get out, kind of get through that moment so that I knew that I could kind of deal with that in a more healthy way than just kind of bawling my eyes out, or which I still did. But it really helped me. And I think that if you talk to a lot of photographers, more times than not, they're going to agree with that. I think for most photographers I know, you probably can agree that it is just, you put yourself in a different place, and it really does help.
I agree, Jennifer. For those of you who follow my channel, you may have seen a couple of 2 or 3 videos ago, and I'll put a link to that up at the top, where I was just so overcome with just joy of just being out that I was just bawling.
Oh.
And because I was outside and I felt like it was a national park. And it's that kind of thing there, that nature can really help you and benefit you. Jennifer, for anyone who might be having some issues right now, who might be having difficulties, I'm sorry for the loss of your dad. I know how that can be difficult. What can you say to those who might be experiencing right now, even whether it's depression, whether it's just the fact of feeling still locked up, whatever? What can you share a little bit to those maybe that might be an encouragement
Sure.
to those?
I think first of all, I would say get outside and get into nature. There's over in Japan, they practice nature therapy, and it's actually a lot of times covered by their health insurance, actually, because they feel that nature has such a healing force behind it. I say go out. We're right now near a stream, near waterfalls, and I find that to be the most relaxing. I actually a lot of times fall asleep to water at night because I feel like it has such a calming feel to it. One thing that I do when I go out for the purpose of kind of dealing with something is I find a spot where it's quiet, where maybe there's not going to be a lot of people passing by me, and I take a moment to really focus on that issue that's bothering me, upsetting me, stressing me out. I like focus in on it almost in an obsessive way. If it makes me cry, if it makes me, sometimes I've yelled if there's not too many people around so I don't scare anyone, but I really focus on that. And then I have a way of just, okay, I'm going to release that now. I've thought about it, I've focused on it, and I look around in nature and I'm like, okay, it's your turn, you take it now. And I kind of mentally release that into nature and let it go. And when I get done with that process, sometimes it might take 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes I've been out there for 30 minutes. And when I get done with that, it feels cathartic. If I'm sitting next to water, all the better. The sound of water, I can't say how much I really love it. And even in terms of photography, so often we are so focused on, let me get that shot. Let me get this shot. And then we're moving from spot to spot. You know, it's wonderful to sit here with Walter next to the stream. We just don't take enough advantage of actually enjoying where we're at. And I'm guilty of it too sometimes. When my purpose is to get the shot, I need to take time to just sit because it will refresh me. And even when I know when I'm driving home today, I'm going to be like, a big sigh, and it's going to feel wonderful.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what Jennifer said, and I'm guilty of that too, of getting to a location and not slowing down and enjoying what I'm seeing. So I would invite everyone to, if you're a photographer, think about that. You know, maybe in the comments, if any of those of you who are in the community, maybe you have some experience or how you use nature or photography as therapy. I invite you to please just comment because I believe that can be helpful to all of us. This is such an important topic. I think we could probably talk about it all day. You know, even as I'm sitting here, and again, I'm thankful for Jennifer to be able to come out and meet me out here to do photography. You know, it's almost like a renewing. I've been renewed. I've been refreshed. And my mind is clear. I'm not worrying about all of the pressure, or work pressure, or other pressure that I have here. So I want to thank Jennifer. And Jennifer, before we close really quickly, can you just briefly share a little bit about your portraiture photography and landscape? And yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I started out as a nature photographer, trying to learn all aspects of nature. I kind of settled in on macro, waterfalls. Those are probably my two favorite. Macro including mostly flowers, butterflies. Those are what I really love. I do obviously landscapes, barns, you know, whatever catches my eye. I didn't think I ever wanted to do portraits until I heard a speaker one day and kind of saw what was possible in terms of combining portraits with nature. Sure, you know, I can do some in a studio, which is fine, but what I love is taking people to a waterfall, a stream, a Shenandoah, and getting that epic shot with them that they never thought was possible. And sure, you know, I do the senior photos, and even with my senior photos, I want to push them to go to new places and do things that they might not have thought was possible. combining nature with portraiture. And I think that the results can be absolutely amazing. And not to brag, but
oh, go ahead and brag.
I have taken some at a waterfall and out in Shenandoah that I think are magnificent. And it takes a bigger effort, but the results are not your average portrait of somebody sitting in a studio, which is lovely and beautiful. But getting the sunset behind you as you are on the side of a rock out in Shenandoah with the mountains behind you, that's unbelievable.
Amen. That's great. Thank you,
thank
Jennifer. Well, everyone, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope what we've shared and what we've shown has been an inspiration to you, to help you to get out and explore, even if it's just to go hiking, to enjoy the nature. So I want to thank everyone for joining me and Jennifer. And if you haven't subscribed, I would invite you to subscribe to the channel, to click that like button and that bell notification so that you'll know when I upload. So from Mill Creek, thank you for joining us, and until the next photography video, get out and enjoy nature. Bye.